The Middle East is a region in flux. Old alliances are strained, and new power dynamics are emerging. The rivalry between the United States and Russia is at the heart of this transformation. The Middle East has become a chessboard for their strategic competition. The recent upheavals in the region have reshaped the geopolitical landscape. Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the fall of Bashar al-Assad in Syria are two pivotal events. These events have had a profound impact on the balance of power in the Middle East. The United States remains a dominant force in the region. However, its influence is being challenged. Russia is seeking to expand its footprint. It sees an opportunity to fill the void left by the declining influence of the United States. The Middle East is at a crossroads. The decisions made by the United States, Russia, and regional actors will shape the future of this volatile region. The stakes are high, and the consequences are far-reaching. Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022 has had a significant impact on its standing in the Middle East. The war has exposed the limits of Russia's military capabilities. It has also damaged Russia's reputation as a reliable partner. The war in Ukraine has strained Russia's resources. This has forced the Kremlin to divert its attention and resources away from the Middle East. As a result, Russia's influence in the region has diminished. The fall of the Assad regime in Syria in December 2024 was another blow to Russia's regional ambitions. Russia had been a staunch supporter of Assad throughout the Syrian civil war. The loss of Assad as an ally has weakened Russia's position in Syria and the wider region. Russia's declining influence is evident in its relationships with its traditional partners in the Middle East. Countries like Egypt and Saudi Arabia are increasingly wary of aligning themselves too closely with Moscow. They're hedging their bets and seeking to diversify their partnerships. The fall of Bashar al-Assad has created a power vacuum in Syria. The country is now facing an uncertain future. The battle against ISIS has been won, but the war against terrorism is far from over. The withdrawal of Russian forces from Syria has further complicated the situation. Russia's presence in Syria was a stabilizing factor, albeit a controversial one. With Russia's departure, Syria is at risk of descending into further chaos and instability. The United States has increased its military presence in Syria in response to the evolving situation. The US is seeking to prevent a resurgence of ISIS and to counter the growing influence of Iran in Syria. The future of Syria is uncertain. However, one thing is clear. The country will remain a focal point of geopolitical competition for the foreseeable future. The stakes are high, as the outcome of the Syrian conflict will have major implications for the wider Middle East. The information space has become a key battleground in the Middle East. Russia has been waging a sophisticated disinformation campaign aimed at undermining the United States and its allies. This campaign has sought to sow discord, spread propaganda, and manipulate public opinion. Russia's disinformation efforts have targeted a wide audience, including Western audiences, Middle Eastern populations, and the global community. Social media platforms, state-controlled media outlets, and covert online networks have been weaponized in this information war. The goals of Russia's disinformation campaign are multifaceted. It seeks to discredit Western institutions, promote pro-Russian narratives, and erode trust in democratic values. By flooding the information space with falsehoods, propaganda, and conspiracy theories, Russia aims to create confusion, foster polarization, and advance its geopolitical interests. The impact of Russia's disinformation campaign has been significant. It has contributed to a climate of distrust and suspicion, making it more challenging to distinguish fact from fiction. The proliferation of fake news and propaganda has real-world consequences, influencing political discourse, fueling social divisions, and undermining informed decision-making. Section 5 America steps in increased military presence in Syria. The United States has increased its military presence in Syria in recent months. The Biden administration has authorized the deployment of additional troops to the region. The objective is to counter the resurgence of ISIS and secure detention facilities holding captured ISIS fighters. The US military presence in Syria is not without controversy. Critics argue that it risks drawing the United States into another protracted conflict in the Middle East. However, the Biden administration has defended the deployment as necessary to protect US interests and prevent the resurgence of terrorist groups. The US military presence in Syria is part of a broader strategy to counter Iranian influence in the region. Iran has been steadily expanding its footprint in Syria, taking advantage of the chaos and instability that has engulfed the country since the outbreak of the civil war. The United States is also working with local partners in Syria to stabilize the country and promote a political solution to the conflict. The US is providing training and equipment to Syrian opposition forces. It is also engaged in diplomatic efforts to bring the warring parties to the negotiating table. Section 6. A fractured alliance. Russia and Israel drift apart. Relations between Russia and Israel have deteriorated sharply in recent years. The once cordial relationship has been strained by a number of factors, including the Syrian civil war, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and the discovery of Russian weapons in Hezbollah caches. The Syrian civil war was a major turning point in Russia-Israel relations. Russia's military intervention in Syria in 2015 in support of the Assad regime put Moscow at odds with Israel, which views Iran's growing influence in Syria as a major threat. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict has also been a source of tension between Russia and Israel. Russia has been critical of Israel's policies toward the Palestinians. It has accused Israel of using excessive force against Palestinian civilians. The discovery of Russian weapons in Hezbollah caches in Lebanon was another blow to Russia-Israel relations. Israel accused Russia of supplying advanced weapons to Hezbollah, which Israel considers a terrorist organization. Russia denied the allegations. The deterioration of Russia-Israel relations has had a number of negative consequences. It has made it more difficult to coordinate military activities in Syria, where both countries have a military presence. It has also undermined efforts to revive the Israeli-Palestinian peace process. Section 7. The Ukraine factor implications for the Middle East. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine has had a ripple effect on the Middle East. It has further complicated the geopolitical landscape in the region. The war has exacerbated existing tensions and created new challenges for regional actors. One of the most significant impacts of the Ukraine conflict has been the disruption of global energy markets. Russia is a major energy exporter. The war has led to a surge in oil and gas prices, which has had a significant impact on energy importing countries in the Middle East. The war in Ukraine has also led to a reassessment of security alliances in the Middle East. Some countries in the region have been reluctant to take sides in the conflict. They fear alienating either Russia or the West. The Ukraine conflict has also diverted international attention and resources away from other crises in the Middle East, such as the ongoing conflicts in Syria and Yemen. The war in Ukraine has made it more challenging to address these other pressing issues. Section 8. Charting the course, potential future scenarios. The future of the Middle East remains uncertain. However, several potential scenarios could unfold in the coming years. These scenarios will depend on the actions of both regional and international actors. One possible scenario is a continuation of the current trajectory. In this scenario, the region would remain mired in conflict and instability. Competition between the United States, Russia, and regional powers would continue. Another scenario is a move towards greater cooperation and dialogue. This would require a significant shift in the policies of key actors. It would also require a willingness to compromise and find common ground. A third scenario is a major escalation of conflict in the region. This could be triggered by a number of factors. These include a miscalculation by one of the major powers, a terrorist attack, or a sudden collapse of a state in the region. The future of the Middle East is not predetermined. It will be shaped by the choices that are made in the coming years. Section 9. A New World Order, the Future of Global Diplomacy. The geopolitical landscape of the 21st century is defined by shifting alliances, emerging powers, and complex global challenges. The rules-based international order established in the aftermath of World War II is facing unprecedented strain. The rise of China as a global power has challenged the existing world order. China's growing economic and military might, coupled with its assertive foreign policy, has led to a recalibration of power dynamics on the world stage. The resurgence of Russia as a revisionist power, seeking to revise the post-Cold War settlement, has further destabilized the international system. Russia's invasion of Ukraine is a blatant violation of international law and has raised profound questions about the future of European security. In this era of uncertainty and transformation, effective diplomacy is more crucial than ever. Global challenges such as climate change, pandemics, and nuclear proliferation require international cooperation and a commitment to multilateral solutions. The future of global diplomacy hinges on the ability of nations to bridge divides, build trust, and find common ground. It will require a renewed commitment to diplomacy as a means of resolving disputes peacefully and advancing shared interests. The stakes are high, and the choices we make today will shape the course of history for generations to come.